Aloha! Welcome to Kilauea, the most active volcano in the world and home to Pele, the fiery, seductive, dangerous Hawaiian volcano goddess. What do the stories of Pele tell us about the origins of the Hawaiian Islands? Pele is credited with creating the Hawaiian island chain. She originally comes from Kahiki, the Hawaiian name for Tahiti, the grand central station of ancient Polynesia. Different stories give different reasons for Pele's journey to Hawaii. In some, she's a girl with wanderlust who looks at the horizon and wants to travel beyond the reef. In other, less Disney-like versions, it's a different kind of lust. She bedded her sister's husband and had to get the waka out of Dodge. We'll go with the saucy version for the very scientific reason that it explains more of the observed phenomena. Pele built her first home at Kauai, the northernmost of the Hawaiian Islands. She had a paoa, a magic digging stick that she used to dig down to the fires under the earth. At Kauai, she dug a fire pit, the caldera at Mount Waialeale, but her aggrieved sister, Namaka o Kahai, a sea goddess, had chased her. Namaka flooded Pele's home with seawater, putting out the fires. Pele fled and dug out a new home that became the island of Oahu. The crater at Leahi, or Diamond Head, looks out over Waikiki. Again, Namaka chased her out and flooded the fire pit. The same again for the islands of Molokai and Maui. At Koki Beach on Maui, Namaka tore Pele's body apart, and the site of the battle is now called Kaiwi o Pele, the bones of Pele. Freed from its body, Pele's spirit again fled south and dug the fire pit at Kilauea. Her big sister, in some versions thinking she was dead, and in others realizing that Pele's spirit could never be beaten, didn't chase her any further. The sunken caldera at Kilauea, called Kahua Pele, the pit of Pele, remains active today. The day we were there, the northern vent was smoking, but the vent has been producing spectacular lava fountains regularly throughout 2025. Geomyths come in two flavors. First, the origin stories, myths that explain how landforms came to be. These attach themselves to things like mountains that were already there when people arrived. Mountain building takes millions of years, so no one could have seen it happen. These are called etiological myths, stories that explain the deep past. Second, the eyewitness accounts. These are stories about real people and events, eruptions, earthquakes, and tsunamis. They get passed down through the generations, wrapped in poetry, song, and hero myths to make them memorable. These are called euhemeric myths, and they're the breaking news of the ancient world. The story of how Pele created the Hawaiian Islands is clearly etiological. The islands existed long before Polynesian explorers discovered them 1,000 years ago. And yet, the Pele story embodies real geological knowledge. The first Hawaiians could see that the land had been created by volcanoes. Hawaii is still growing and changing. Pele's story captures the battle between fire and water. The volcanoes create new land and the sea constantly attacks it. Seawater cools the lava and stops its advances. Lashing waves erode the rock, the relentless action of the betrayed sea goddess, reducing mountains to sand. Those first Hawaiians could also see that the islands in the northwest were worn and beaten and heavily vegetated, and that the islands of the chain look progressively younger and fresher as they reach southeast. Hawaii looks so ancient that it was used as a location for Jurassic Park. The diamonds of Diamond Head on Oahu are olivine crystals that show the crater's youth. They will weather away to dust and clay. The big island of Hawaii has rough new lava flows, with the Ohi Alehua trees just putting down their first roots. It's young, feisty, and still growing. Canadian geologist John Tuzo Wilson made the same observation in the 1960s. He proposed that there was a hot spot in the Earth's mantle and that the sea floor was moving northwest over it. Continental drift had been proposed by Alfred Wegener in 1912, but believers were ignored or regarded as cranks. Wilson connected the ideas of seafloor spreading, subduction zones, and continental drift into the theory of plate tectonics. The chain of islands forming over the Hawaiian hotspot was an essential piece in the plate tectonics puzzle. Modern potassium argon dating techniques showed that both the Polynesian storytellers and Wilson were right. Hawaii was formed over 5 million years ago. Oahu between 3.7 and 2.6 million years ago. Molokai a bit less than 2 million years ago, Maui about 1 million years ago, and Hawaii 400,000 years and still growing. To the southeast of the Big Island is Kamaehua Kanaloa Seamount, an undersea volcano whose peak is 975 meters below sea level and growing at 8 millimeters a year. The islands were created northwest to southeast, just as they were in the Pele story. Seafloor surveys show that the island chain continues under the Pacific as a line of coral atolls and seamounts, old, eroded volcanoes that don't break the surface. The line extends halfway to Japan and then up to Kamchatka. 43 million years ago, something changed. We don't know what, but it may have been trench jam. The mountain chain may have hit the northern boundary and resisted subduction, forcing the Pacific plate to change direction. The oldest seamount in the chain, the Meiji Seamount, is 82 million years old, but we have no idea how many older seamounts may have disappeared into the subduction zone under Kamchatka. Pele arrived at Kauai 5.5 million years ago, but she may have been building islands and Namaka may have been flooding them for tens or hundreds of millions of years before that. Fire and ocean have been locked in battle since the birth of the planet. Pele's fire still lives at Kilauea, and her new home at Kamaehua Kanaloa is being built as we speak. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. In the next installment from Hawaii, we'll see what more recent Pele legends can tell us about the eruptive history of Kilauea since humans arrived.